Howdy everyone, and welcome back, or should I say welcome, to the first, technically the second, episode of the LODcast. Today, we are joined by our hosts, American Scribe, replacing Zorkanov, Koocai, the Biggie 15, and myself, Kuyo. This podcast in general is just going to be us talking about lore, things happening on YouTube, and as well as catching up with each other, and just a little bit of community stuff. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. I'm going to pass it off to my boy, Biggie15, so he can introduce you to the first section.
Alright, so basically we're going to start talking about things on YouTube and news in general, kind of things that have been circulating the internet, maybe some other minor things that have come up there one or two of us may have discovered and may not be a big thing, but overall, these are pretty major topics we have that we all have found. So, the first of which being the lawsuit over the name Redfall, which was brought up by a wonderful insider called Kuyo. He's a good reporter. You should go to him for news like this every single day.
You guys should subscribe to me. Yeah, so, okay, this topic is basically just, well, I think some people know about this, but recently we got notice of a copyright done by Bethesda over something named Redfall. And in general, this Redfall thing, it brought up a lot of rumors in the community and all that. We kind of know the story. There's been a million videos on it. But turns out that there's actually a book series, and I also think like a movie series called Redfall. And the people who made, well, at least the author who wrote the Redfall books, actually went to court over this with Bethesda. And now they're in like this kind of pseudo-legal battle. I don't know if they've actually had the court date yet, but yeah, it's basically what's happening. And what are your thoughts, guys?
Well, first of all, for someone who may not know what Redfall is, what is Redfall, Kuyo?
I have no idea outside the fact that it's a fantasy sci-fi book series.
Yes, it actually is. I actually looked into this. I forget the author's name, but it's just a generic fantasy series, book series.
Well, it seems odd that Bethesda would, like, out of nowhere trademark this because it feels... it's not like they have any titles over this anyway, and this book series is already established. Why would they just go on and...
Yeah, that was kind of my thought process. They haven't made a game on it. I don't know why there's even a legal battle, but once again, remember when they went after Mojang? The same people who made Minecraft over the word scrolls?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I do remember that.
They put the notch in Skyrim already.
Yeah, that was like, bruh. Actually, wait, now that I think about it, maybe the notch was like, maybe that's how they settled it outside of court.
Me in your game.
I was thinking that they already had the Redfall trademark previous to this, and they just renewed it. Because I'm pretty sure they trademarked it in 07, I thought.
Yeah, they had Redguard, but this was... I haven't heard about it, but maybe they did.
How is it even possible for Bethesda to trademark something that already had a seal, you know?
I mean, if
the way trademarks are set up is that basically anyone could file for a trademark. You, me, anyone here could file for a trademark. And so Bethesda, thinking they might use this in the future, could have trademarked the term Redfall, and all they have to do is continuously renew that trademark, and eventually, you know, they'll be fine with it. So it's possible that even with this series, the author didn't necessarily get this title trademarked, because just because something is published does not mean that it's trademarked. You have to go out of your way to do that. So it is possible that the author just neglected to do that, and now that it's, you know, Bethesda has this, the author might be just like, whoa, this is mine. Sorry, I already made this series, and just turned into this whole stint.
Yeah, that's actually kind of hard to make a decision over, because on one hand, that guy had it already, the person who made the books or wrote them or made the name, but he never trademarked it, so...
The trademark laws in the United States are a very odd occurrence, because apparently you can still own a trademark without filing one. That's why people have trademark colors, if you guys know about that at all.
Yeah,
I don't even know
with
what
like
that is.
Crayola and all that.
Yeah, but it has to be associated with a certain product. I think they'll get around it by saying that the Redfall trademark for the book is separate from the Redfall trademark and the video game. My theory is that it is just an expansion. That's going to be the expansion name.
For what game?
Whatever Elder Scrolls 6 is.
It could be even for online. It could be some possible DLC with Hammerfell.
Well,
That's true.
Well, I know they're going supposedly going Hammerfell in Elder Scrolls 6, and Hammerfell sounds a lot like Daggerfalls, and that might be the name of the expansions where you go to Daggerfall instead.
Elder Scrolls YouTubers be like, guys, it's Elder Scrolls 6.
The truth.
Okay, I think we've kind of beat the dead horse already, like at least a few times. So let's move on. This is also my topic, kinda. Basically, did everyone see that letter that Lauren Schick, the lore master guy of the Elder Scrolls Online, when he announced that he was leaving Elder Scrolls Online?
I did not even know that he did. I
heard about it.
But so basically, what he did was that this is kind of me being a Coda head, kind of speaking from my Coda head experiences. He at the end of his thing, right at the end, he said, "It's not about what we write down." This is me paraphrasing, but it's not about what we make for the players to do, but rather what the players do themselves and what adventures they make along the way. Which everyone in the Coda head lore community went ahead and said was, "Holy crap! This is Lauren Schick confirming canon." And Lauren Schick himself, confirming that he is a Coda head a while back, because he gave Michael Kirkbride the ability to write a 37th sermon for the Elder Scrolls Online, is kind of just really hit the nail on the head, and everyone's like, holy crap, guys, Coda's canon. And yeah, we have all these different confirmations, and Lauren Schick making an active effort to make Coda canon. So yeah, I just want to know your thoughts on that, as well as him leaving.
I think he probably did it just because, hey, he can. If it's something he believes in, he's like, all right, well, is this real? No, I'm out of here. Peace. Can't do anything now.
Some certain people are going to flip out about that.
So he said it's what the players make of it, not what we...
But it's something sounds like more just like make one last little splash in the water and see what happens. And if anyone tries to deny it, well, guess what? I'm gone. I can't. Well, do you think we should just move on to the next topic, or you want to still continue on with this?
Let's just move on because we're running out. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was reading the link that you sent, but yeah, we can move on because I don't know anything.
Oh,
okie doke. I know a little bit about what you're going to talk about, Biggie. I like this.
Oh man. All right, so BioWare and EA's failure called Anthem, and the fact that
6
they're now
years of
breaking
development.
PlayStation 4s.
Oh,
6 years, boys.
What
6 years.
that
Terrified
game
about is that Dragon Age 4 is just going to be tossed off to a different developer, and EA is just going to EA it up.
Oh yeah.
That feeling
basically-
when Andromeda is better than Anthem.
Well, what makes me kind of crack up is because there was one of the lead developers or something like that, the lead writers in BioWare, was just like, our company is not riding on the success of Anthem. But kind of like Lawrence Schick, he's kind of like, "What? I'm also retiring. Peace out, guys," and then left
Nice.
like a couple days after. So what terrifies me is that EA is just like, "Oh, 2 failures in a row, closed." Make me cry.
I was like, well, Apex, it seems like EA didn't even know that was going on under their nose. That came out and it's huge now. So it shows what game developers can do with EA's money if EA just, doesn't put their grubby little fingers on it.
Yeah. Speaking of which,
just stay away.
Yeah, literally.
Just sign the check, EA. Just sign the check.
Speaking of which, have any of you played Apex?
I have
No.
not yet.
No.
Oh, I'm the only
And I
one here who's
really
played it.
don't want to.
Oh, you battle royale scrub!
No, I this is my first battle royale, and I actually enjoyed
You
it.
sell out! You sell out! I'm kidding.
It's true, I sold out. We'll see you boys. No more Elder Scrolls for me.
Apex lore coming soon.
Top 10. I'm gonna switch over to top 10s in
Do
Apex
it,
lore.
Titan. It's going to be a Titanfall channel.
Oh, rip! I post Titanfall videos.
Well, Apex is Titanfall.
Yeah, it's in the same universe. See, that's the thing. It's a. I feel like they did what they do with like Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 76, where it's literally just the same game with everything involving story stripped away. Like,
yeah,
it's a good game, but only because the Titanfall games were good.
I agree with that statement.
Titanfall 2 was amazing.
Yeah, if I had it on PC, I'd say the same thing, but I've only played Apex.
Well, I haven't played Titanfall 2 yet. I've only ever played the first one.
It was way better. Way
That's what
better.
everyone tells me. My one coworker, he just keeps it inside of his Xbox at all times.
Nice.
It's one of the few games on Xbox that I have on disc, so I do the same thing.
What are your thoughts, Mr. Koocai?
On Anthem?
Yeah. Do you think it's just as much of a shit show as all of us?
Well, I've looked at reviews for it, and to be honest, I think it's a pretty good game, but it's not what people wanted. It's like, it has good combat, the graphics are really great, but they got everything else horribly.
Also, they lied so hard at E3.
Oh, yeah.
It misses what a lot of games really need, and that's like a point.
Yeah,
it has to feel like it matters, and it just...
They're trying so hard to be like a game with a continuous revenue stream like Destiny, but they don't have the stuff that Destiny has. Like, when Destiny was free on PC, I got it, and I was like, whoa, this game's pretty good. But obviously there's that paywall with the DLC and leveling up. But from what I played of Anthem, it feels like basically discount Destiny.
Yeah.
If only we knew another game like that. Fallout 76.
Hey, what did you say about 76? Hey,
don't curse in here.
I used to be a detractor of 76, and then I played it, and now I'm just slightly less of a detractor.
I played it too. Got a good
I have not played it.
I refuse
15 hours.
It's amazing how the tides have turned, boys. I used to say I was going to hate it, but I actually ended up liking it.
It's fun with friends. If I'm not, I don't play it by myself, so...
Well, I think it's worse with people you know, because you guys don't actually do anything. You just end up like talking through everything.
I know. See, when I play with my buddies, we just go out and we go everywhere. We do a lot of shit.
I'm giving 76 a little while for me.
I would definitely give it at least like a year.
Yeah.
But after that, I'm pretty confident that it'll probably be pretty damn decent.
Well, I was thinking 76. Well, not 76. 76 is going to pull what they did with ESO. ESO is garbage when it first came out. Now it's actually a pretty freaking good MMO.
It's probably like the best MMO out there.
See, I'm hoping what they do is like kind of like No Man's Sky, where they just put out a free update where it just doubles or triples the content, and the game becomes that much better.
See, I thought the same thing, but the thing is, No Man's Sky was made by like 5 people in an indie studio that made AAA money. And now you're talking about Bethesda, a AAA studio that made indie money. So I wish that would happen, but I don't ever think it's gonna happen. I think the biggest thing we're gonna get is like an ESO level change, which is over like 3 years and tons of updates that cost money.
We should probably transition to some of the lore.
Move on.
Yeah, we're getting off topic.
Scribe, it's your turn.
Okay, so it's me. Alright, so for the lore topics today, the first one we're going to touch on here is something we touched on a while back, but the concept of evolution in the Elder Scrolls, as well as the possibility of races deciding what they're becoming and how they change.
Oh, since Zork isn't here, this is when you decide to bring up this content?
No, I planned to bring this up when Zork was here, but he decided not to show up. So we're still going to talk about it, though.
Oh, yeah, whether his input's here or not.
You hear that, Zork?
He'll read me for this one, because I'm going to butcher this.
Yeah, so basically, I remember Zork a while back talked about how the book, The House of Troubles, talked about genes and stuff in the Elder Scrolls community, and he said that it was confirmed by Arimatthias. And Arimatthias, being the lore god he is, I would 100% trust him, but I did not find the word gene at all inside of it. And it's just been like fizzling inside of me, like, what did he mean by genes?
Yeah, I read the same book, and I did not find any kind of reference to genes at all. Although I think that the message it was trying to send was similar, but there's no word for genes in the Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, and that brings me on to the point I'm trying to make, which is after making like 3 videos about how races and stuff and provinces and all that came to be, is basically that I think, because I think Matthias in one of his podcasts kind of hinted at it, is that races, and basically since everything started out as the Elnofe, except for Argonians, but we'll get there, those guys are messed up, is basically that the Elnofe weren't all that different. They were literally the same exact thing. It's just their choices decided what they became. Like, the Wandering Elnofe and the I forgot the other name, but the ones that were just like at Tamriel.
The old Elnofe.
Yeah, the old Elnofe. In one of the Selective Lorecasts podcasts, they talked about how the only difference between them is the fact that they just decided to be different. Like they said, we're not you. It's like 2 tribes of the same people saying, hey, we don't like you guys.
So, besides genes, maybe I haven't read the book myself. I haven't researched into genes, whether or not, even if it's even mentioned. Zork made a video about that. But I do know for a fact, and we all know for a fact, everyone knows that the Dunmer, they were not what they are right now. They used to be different.
And there wasn't enough time for them to like theoretically evolve. Like, I don't think, because evolution itself takes, like, the fastest we've ever seen evolution in real life was with whatever, there's basically a species of birds on the Galapagos Islands.
Yeah, the finches.
Yeah, the finches. And it took like a few years for them. Like, I think it was 10 or so. And it was like a very, very isolated case. But normally, like, even fast evolution takes at least 10,000 years. And the most we know of the length of the Merithic era was around, I'd say it barely came close to like 10,000. Like, well, I would doubt the Merithic era being that long.
Well, my theory is that magic had something to play into that, could speed it up, especially with elves screwing it up.
Okay, so the Dunmer believe that one of the gods changed their race, and whether there's evidence to support that or not, or whether it's just a myth or a legend in their own race, I don't think that there's enough evidence to decide. And it could be possible that every single race in throughout the entire lands, they're all like influenced by the gods, and they're all influenced by magic, and there is no evolution.
That is interesting. Thought on it.
Yeah, so on that, we do in fact know that the Dunmer were magically created, because before that, the Chimer were like light-skinned. They basically look like Altmer, but slightly shorter. And the whole betrayal of Nerevar and the plot of Morrowind is the whole reason why they became Dunmer with the dark skin. I really don't understand why the ashen skin was a curse. Maybe Michael Kirkbride is just a little racist, but
maybe just a little bit.
But yeah, so what Koo said, pretty much that.
Well, yeah, even if there is evidence to support the Dunmer, like physically being changed by the gods and being cursed and all that, it is still possible that the other races in Tamriel might still be changed by magic, and
which, in specific, I want to talk about Argonians, because I think they're the only ones that would apply to. But we'll get to Argonians when we get to the Argonians, because that's one of our topics. So, Scribe?
Yes. We'll go to topic number 2. Who is more inferior, the Khajiit or the Argonians? There is only one correct answer.
Quick, everyone, in your seats, vote right now.
It appears that the votes are in, and the votes confirm Argonians with the landslide victory.
This is so amazing, guys. Thank you.
I really like cats.
1.
Koo, you better not be a furry. You know what we do to your kind around these parts.
Oh, shit.
Koos, what kind of furry are you? That is the question.
Oh,
I'm not.
You didn't you just straight up threw the accusation out, man. That's not cool.
Okay, man. Jesus.
I like the Khajiit, though. They have a really cool religion.
See, even
Like,
as a Dunmer supremacist and Coda head, I would agree that anything and everything is superior. Even those ugly orc-looking things are more superior than Argonians, because Argonians are so messed up. Like, when we get to that section, they legitimately give me creeps. I'll hold off, but it's messed up.
He's like, I'll wheel back. I support the Confederacy, man. The Ellisburg Confederacy will rise again.
Out with the Imperials, in with the cat people.
Amen.
Rest in peace to Lil Muffet.
Alright, so we're ready for topic number 3.
Yeah, and this is a pretty expansive one, which I think has enough meat in it to last us.
Murkmire and the reality of the Hist.
Yeah, so the idea of this topic is that I wanted to discuss what exactly the Argonians are, because I think there's a lot of misinterpretation in the community, and obviously there's going to be my own bias when I'm explaining this. But after playing
the Argonians,
but after playing Murkmire, the ESO DLC, like so many clouds are removed from Blackmarsh and the Argonians in general. What we ended up learning about the Argonians was that everything about them, from how they look, whether they even have souls or not, comes down to the Hist, and that is so creepy to me. Because when the main quest of ESO, spoiler by the way, for Murkmire, is that we're brought by this company called the Cyrodiil Collections to Murkmire, well, the general region of Murkmire, and we're told that we're supposed to find the Heart of Argonia, which is this ancient relic that apparently has a massive connection to the Hist. And we're being funded by this Argonian who wasn't at least born in Murkmire, or at least born in any form or place of Argonia. And what ends up happening is that she, in an attempt to reconnect to the Hist, because even drinking the sap didn't reconnect her for some reason, and she couldn't hear the voices of the Hist like everyone apparently can. Basically, she uses the relic to forcibly take control and reconnect to the Hist. And to me, that just shows that the Hist, besides being cruel as all hell, is like a puppet master to the Argonians, because like she attempts to kill everyone connecting to the Hist, and that's messed up.
Interesting.
Another thing we learn is that the mating cycle of the Argonians is also determined by the Hist. So there's
Do they lay eggs?
Yeah, they do.
Awesome, cool.
So it turns out that there's this thing called the bonding ceremony, which is controlled by the Hist as well. And it doesn't matter if you're already married to an Argonian and you're an Argonian, or even if you're not Argonian, you're married to an Argonian. The Hist decides which Argonians mate with which other Argonians. They don't even choose who they have children with.
That's a little communisty.
Yeah.
So what the DLC is trying
Arranged
to
marriages.
show us is that the Hist are basically like overlord dictators of the Argonians.
But some people would have you not believe that, because at the end of the DLC we're told that the Hist is good and great and that it's not a bad thing, which is it's like, after everything we see, the fact that the Hist can literally manipulate time and space. There's this entire section where we go back in time physically by living through an Argonian, and then we're told at the end of all of it that, oh, the Hist was only doing this so that it could help you guys out. But it seems as though the Hist is way more powerful than it lets on.
Okay, that sounds really complex. I need to watch a recap of the lore.
Yeah, like you enter this gateway that brings you through like all these different other gateways that look alien, and it's like you see like a couple million off in like the distance, and they just connect time period from other time periods.
Wow.
That's trippy.
And not just that, the Hist can also grow Argonians that aren't real Argonians. There's like this entire tribe of Argonians who were like rejected by the Hist and given life artificially through other Argonians. So they don't have souls, because like if you look at their eyes, they're completely white. They look like blind people, and they're also like white in terms of scales. And they look like they're rotting.
So you're saying if let's say I had a black soul gem, and I could not capture an Argonian soul with a black soul gem. Then
theoretically, if they were Argonians without souls, which is that one particular tribe, I think they're called the Blackwater tribe.
Interesting.
And yeah, it can also, besides just that, it can also grow its own, like, you know how there's the entire invasion by the Murns Dagon and all that?
Yeah.
So, in that time, we were told that the Argonians beat back Murns Dagon. Now, the way it was done, at least this is what I theorize based on what we saw, is that the Hist manipulated the bodies of the Argonians. And it did this because we do see an Argonian becoming an Argonian behemoth, which are basically Argonians, but they look like those Daedra. I forgot the name of the Daedra. But
we see that in the ESO expansion.
Yeah, we see that in ESO.
Oh.
It's actually even before the expansion. We see it like in dungeons and stuff.
Oh, cool.
So it can, if it wants to, it can turn them into giant monsters that it controls by itself. And not even that, it doesn't even need Argonians to breed to create those behemoths. Like, there was this artificial behemoth created for a trial in one of the missions by the Hist.
Huh.
It sounds to me like the Hist are actually kind of on the power level of like the god.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, if they can create artificial life and literally control everything about the Argonians, then what more can they do? And that's, in terms of Elder Scrolls, I would say that's on the level of, like, tonal architecture.
Daedra.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I'm going to have to research into that later.
Once again, you guys got to remember, this is through my own biased lens, so I might have gotten some things wrong and misinterpreted some things.
Yeah, really, the only thing that I think confuses me is that, in a sense, is the fact that there are Argonians that seemingly have free will. I think maybe it's in the sense of where they can be told what to do, but for the most part, maybe the Hist just lets them do whatever it is they want to do, unless there is a specific agenda to accomplish. And I think the Oblivion Crisis would be the best example there. You know, to fight off Oblivion, there would be to get control of the Argonians if need be.
The Hist might just be trying to preserve themselves, and they might just have a special connection to the Argonians, and they truly do care for the Argonians.
Yeah, there's always
but when it comes to preserving themselves, they're going to take drastic action.
Well, I do have some lore-breaking question to ask here. Why are there still Argonians in Oblivion? And if you play Elder Scrolls 4, several of the cultists are Argonians. How can they join the cult, yet supposedly all be called back to Blackmarsh before the Oblivion Crisis?
That is quite the question.
Do with whether or not they were born in Blackmarsh or not, because there is that connection that Kuyo said earlier, that drinking the Hist sap will bring that connection in. But if you never did that, and if you were born outside of Blackmarsh, do you necessarily have that connection to begin with?
It could probably be like without, because actually there's another mission in ESO about this, where this Argonian who's never drank the sap before is, mind my language, basically autistic.
Yeah, but the ones in Oblivion aren't.
I'm assuming it's probably like a spectrum.
Oh my god! Don't dig this hole.
You're gonna have to edit this out.
All I know is that I want to see what happens when you feed an Argonian baby that weird sap from the one tree in Skyrim.
Supposedly, the sleeping tree is like a version.
It's from the floating city, right?
Yeah. Of
it up.
Hercene?
Umbra.
Is that who it was?
No, it was Sheogorath and Umbra.
It might also be from the Red Mountain, though. Don't discount that.
The sleeping tree is a strange, leafless tree found in the Whiterun Hold. In Skyrim, it grows beside the Misty Pool, blah, blah, blah. Some say the piece of rock was blasted from Red Mountain during the Red Year and landed in Skyrim. Others say it grew there from the resulting crater. Others say it grew from the spore which fell from a floating island, referring to Umbriel. The tree is one of the Hist of Umbriel.
Yeah, but we still know it's a hist, at least that.
Yes.
Yeah. Why not both?
So I wonder, maybe this is like a super secret spy tree.
They're planning their invasion.
Yeah. Yeah, so I feel like we've milked this topic for all it's worth.
Yeah, I was about to say, do you want to move on to the next one?
Yeah.
Alright, so the next topic is the Allmaker. For those of you who do not know the Allmaker is the god of the people of, what's the island called again?
The Skull.
The Skull.
Oh yeah, Solstein.
Yes.
It's the people of Solstein, which are the Nords that are, in terms of culture, the Nords of Skyrim.
I would like to put my theory on the Allmaker first, if you guys don't mind.
Go ahead.
I believe the Allmaker is a lost transition of not Padme, but the other god
Anu?
Anu, yes, of Anu, and they are. I think that the Skull are earliest transitions of the wandering Elnathe into humanity.
Okay, so I actually have something to say about that, because you're not that far off. From a very Coda-esque perspective, which I'd like to think is a logical way of looking at it, is that the Allmaker is in reference to Lorcan. And Lorcan, from once again another Coda perspective, is shore. And as we know, basically the Skull worship the old Nordic pantheon, which involved things like Shore, who is the serpent, basically all the stones in general, basically, that we see around Skyrim. And then they're obviously related to their gods, like Kine, always being Kine. Some of them are constants, but basically there's this book in Coda called Shore, Son of Shore, which involves Shore kind of like talking to himself, like, well, they're called Shore, Father of Shore, and he keeps talking to these people who are named after him, which you can interpret in any way you like. I like thinking about it as like parallel timelines, previous Kalpas, whatever. And I like to think that maybe the Allmaker is just the Skull seeing the Allmaker, who is Lorcan, basically, or Shore, for what he is, which is the creator of the realm of Mundus.
So you think that they're interpreting Lorcan in a different way from what the rest of the people in Tamriel?
Yeah, because some of the elves, at least, well, it's mainly the races of men who like to think of Lorcan as the good guy, and the Dunmer.
Yeah,
I'd say that also has to do with the differences in like their histories. Like men hate everything that the elves did in the first place, because men and Mer have that huge rivalry starting all the way from the beginning of when
a city of ours was sacked, guys. Better just destroy an entire race.
I mean, even with that, with the Aleans in Cyrodiil enslaving most of the humans that are there. Go over to Yokuda, where the Red Guards had a rivalry with the elves over there as well. So I think it just has to do in differences of culture. And so when it comes down to it, men are going to champion the things that Mer hate. And I think that's why it was such a big deal with Talos.
I have my own interpretation of the Allmaker. It kind of falls into, like, the idea that there is no such thing as, like, an official way that the universe was created. Like, these gods did that specific thing, the other ones did that specific thing. I think that it's entirely possible that we know practically nothing of how it all worked, and the Allmakers have their own ideas of how it worked based on what they observed. And everyone else observed what they observed, and they attributed certain names to those gods. They wrote stories about them and gave them ideas, like, ascribed ideas to them. And the Skull ascribed their own ideas to the Allmaker and called him the Allmaker. And they don't know anything about any other gods because they're, like, alone on that island.
You know, I actually kind of like that, because the fact is that we've seen tons of things where the races all interpreted the same sort of events as different things. So maybe, like, say for example, the whole thing with the orcs in Trinimac and everyone else in Trinimac seeing, like, oh, Trinimac didn't really die, that was just a huge deceit by Boethia. But then other races are like, nah, you guys still worship a pile of shit, so. But yeah, I like that idea.
It's kind of an idea that it's a little bit hard to get behind because we have so much history talking about all the different gods. We've given them names, we've observed their actions. Mehrunes Dagon, Akatosh, they appeared in Oblivion. We could literally see them fighting each other. So it's kind of a hard idea to get behind. You have to kind of stretch the lore a little bit.
It's one of those things we have to also fill in the pieces with what we have, because there's just not enough information about it. So I do agree with you, Koo, a lot with what you said. So I think that makes the most sense.
Anyways, that's my idea about the Allmaker.
That seems to work out pretty well in my head, actually.
And now it's time to talk about whatever we want to talk about. Scribe, what do you got?
My big thing I want to talk about here is EA. When will EA stop putting their grimy little fingers on everything that their developers make?
Well, EA is... let's look at their stock, because like, once their new CFO or whatever their CEO guy came into power, he basically made their company from basically going under to being like the most profitable video game company in the history of video game companies. So now that they're like at this peak, they have to keep showing their investors that they're making money. But the fact is, they can't keep making money, especially at this rate.
Well, that's going to happen whenever, you keep their microtransaction into things. They need to realize, hey, the feelings about microtransactions have significantly changed in the past 3 years, and all they're going to do is lose money by keep adding loot boxes and transactions and whatnot to them.
They're not losing money. Let's just start that off. Basically, EA, they make a ridiculous amount of money. Basically, just FIFA alone, they make $800 million a year from just the microtransactions and the team alone, in terms of the whatever Ultimate Team. They make a ridiculous amount of money with that. So it's not that they're struggling for money at all by any means necessary.
Well, I wouldn't say they're struggling yet, but if they continue down this path of putting out unfinished games, along with every other AAA developer, and they all have a big problem of putting out unfinished games, I feel like it's just going to come back and hurt them.
You're not wrong. It's been a big pushback from gamers. They don't want unfinished products. They don't like the early access as much as it was, because it went from us getting, the pre-release, like it comes out like a couple days early if you pre-order it, to the beta, to now we have alphas coming out, and it's like shell of the game.
Yeah.
People often, there's a saying that people have a lot of the time that they're a corporation, like they're a company, they have to make money. And for a lot of companies, I don't really know if that's entirely true, but for EA, yeah, that's true. They're a corporation, they gotta make money. That's their bottom line. That's all that they care.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's all they're gonna care about, and it's gonna come back and hurt them. Like, I think alphas work for like indie companies and stuff, but nothing that's big AAA gaming on consoles and whatnot.
I agree, because with indie developers, they don't have that kind of access to the AAA dollars that other, obviously, AAA companies would have. So they would have to at least give out what they have so the fans can update it, and they update it based on what the fans want.
Yeah, because like when we look at something like No Man's Sky, it's clear that their product was a result of like not having enough time to recuperate. Because I remember they had like a flood a while, like 2 years into their project, and they lost everything they worked on. But then again, them being because it's like a perfect example of what you can do when you have a lot of money and you clearly can do a lot with it. But then there's the AAA companies who clearly have a lot of money, but then they're like trying to monetize every single thing they have, even though it's clear like making a game that's like 800 or that takes like 500 or 800 hours to complete, then throwing in microtransactions, then expecting people to buy new games like literally every week is not a sustainable business model.
I think at some point the industry just has to realize if you make a good game that people want to play, that's a good game and has good quality and has a lot of good features, people will buy it. microtransactions, loot boxes, that's just a way to get quick money at the expense of your player base.
Yeah, and one thing that actually did piss me off about EA not too long ago was Battlefield 5 underperformed. I use air quotes there. It still sold like 6 million copies, but they expected it to sell like they expected it to sell like 7 or 8 million, and they blamed it on a little bit on the poor marketing campaign. Their marketing campaign was kind of trash, and then they DICE's focus on single player campaigns, and it's like, what? Like they pushed it so that DICE put too much time and effort on the single player campaign and not enough time and effort on the battle royale mode. They thought the battle royale mode should have came out with the game, so that just threw me for a loop. And I love single player games, and I would like to champion that. Yeah. So I fight for that.
Well, whenever they released that, I was like, what? That's the exact opposite reason as to why this happened.
Because the game sucked.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, guys. I just realized something. Every one of our topics pertains to the same general subject.
That's a good idea. That's a good point.
Respawn's upcoming Star Wars game is related to EA. Fallout 76 and all that stuff is related once again to AAA companies monetizing. Then the Bethesda E3 conference is related directly to Fallout.
We're gamers. What do you want from us?
Yeah.
I guess we could translate a little bit into Respawn's game, since we're kind of on the topic anyway. So Respawn is working on Jedi: The Fallen Order, which it's going to be an open world first person game, not first person, open world third person game, and you're basically going to be a Padawan who survives Order 66, and then that's all we know. I think we're just given the ropes to survive, and I think this game has a lot of potential, especially with Respawn at the helm.
I'm happy that Respawn's doing it. I'm just like, if I have any worries about it, it's the fact that Respawn has, like, this is their first open world game, if I'm correct, right?
Yes.
True, yes, but in my opinion, they have a good track record. I think Titanfall was good. It just lacked significant content.
Titanfall 2 was a goddamn amazing game. As far
Titanfall
as
2 is, yes, it should have been everything the first Titanfall had. It had more maps, it had a single player campaign, and overall just had more customization to it. And they did very well at it. And then Apex obviously came out too, and I think I have a lot more trust in Respawn now that they came out and said, well, yeah, with Apex, we just told EA to sign a blank check and trust us with it. And we had to emphasize the trust a lot, and they fortunately did. I think Apex is finding some sort of success is because it's kind of in spite of EA in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I do trust Respawn a lot more with producing a good video game. And I'm hoping that some of the people from Visceral hop into here. I know Visceral got shut down.
Rest in peace, Visceral.
Shut down, but they were working on an open world Star Wars game as well. So I'm hoping that maybe Respawn kind of recognized that and picked up some of the developers here and there, the writers, producers, anything, just to kind of pick up where some pieces at that where they go to continue where they're going.
Not just that, but this is probably like going to be the last Star Wars game we get from EA that's not multiplayer, because they're already like 8 years into their 10-year deal.
Yeah,
they've only gotten 2 games out.
So how to not handle a license?
Well, BioWare wanted to make KOTOR 3, but EA's like, no, and slapped him on the hand, said, you can't do that. They're just like, oh.
If they would have made KOTOR 3, I would have pre-ordered that, and I don't pre-order games anymore.
Yeah, honestly, I would like. The Knights of the Old Republic games are so good.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
I'll never forget my dad spending hours playing that whenever I was a kid.
Dad, get off the video game.
I know. He's like, no, it's my turn to play. I'm like, you played Morrowind last week. He's like, but I'm playing KOTOR now. I'm like, ah! Then Warcraft came out. That's when I got the Xbox back.
Yeah, so with that, if you're okay, we can transition into my topic.
Sure.
And mine is on the subject of Fallout 76, which, as you heard, is a trashy game. And I agree. I wholeheartedly agree that is a absolutely shit game.
I have played it. I'm not just saying it because I have preconceptions on it. I have played it. For anyone who's listening, like, oh, he just hasn't fucking played it. He's an idiot. He has no opinions. I have played it.
But I'd like to very much say that content and complete lack of content aside, as well as all the terrible bugs and development time that the studio was probably given, the game has something in there that reminds me a lot of Morrowind. Like, the different zones, the way that loot is spawned, leveling, all that. It's so much like Morrowind, from what I remember, at least.
I mean, here's my issue with it. Everyone went off on a giant rampage whenever it came out by how terrible it is. And I'm thinking, have you guys not listened to the E3 conference? Like, everything Todd Howard said was going to happen, happened pretty much. It was supposed to be just a sandbox world, and that's pretty much what it was. And it was supposed to have virtually nothing. That was his point. It was supposed to be like if you just walked out of a vault.
Obviously, we were lacking in content, but pretty much what he said happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I knew this wasn't going to I knew this was going to happen. That's why I didn't pre-order it. I was going to wait till they actually got some
Which is
stuff
what you
out
should
for
do.
it. Yeah.
And then everyone on this podcast, the podcast that never came out for whoever's hearing this, we basically, it was, Biggie was hopeful, Koo was hopeful, Zork pre-ordered it, or at least his friends did. And now it's the complete opposite, where me, the one person who said he absolutely hated the game, says he likes it. And everyone else is like, it's not that great of a game.
Here's what I always have to say about Fallout 76. When ESO first came out, people were like, awesome, it'll be like Skyrim but multiplayer. And then Fallout 76 came out and people were like, it's gonna be Fallout 4 but multiplayer? I never understood that. I never understood that, but if it would have been Fallout 4 with multiplayer, and it had stories, it had like co-op quests and stuff that you could go on with your friends, that would be incredible.
If it had
but
NPCs.
Instead, it's kind but instead it's kind of just an open world sandbox with lore sprinkled in the form of nodes.
Which is basically what it ended up being.
Yeah, and that's not really what people wanted.
They would have done better if you were like the second vault coming out and then you're meeting the people from 76 that are trying to restart the world.
Or just if we go by the lore in the game. So basically in the game, once again another spoiler, when you get out, literally everyone is dead from the Scorched Plague. Like literally 2 or 3 days before you get out. Like I would have rather liked living the story of saving all the people who survived in the game from a plague rather than experiencing them all being dead.
Yeah. That would have made a lot more sense, Bethesda, if you're listening to this, Todd Howard.
Todd, very cool.
So that's what Todd Howard does in his time. He likes to go around and looking at Elder Scrolls podcasts.
He's like, I must get more input. We screwed up 76 so bad. What does the community want?
Right. So I think we should start transitioning because we're getting close on time here.
We're on the brink of time. So yeah, Koo, your subject.
So my subject is about what games do we think Bethesda is going to show at E3? Do you guys think that they're going to show Star?
First and foremost, they're gonna show Skyrim special edition.
Yep, I agree.
And that'll come out soon. So, and then probably a little bit on Starfield, and maybe another teaser on the Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah, so I fully expect that we're going to see Doom Eternal, maybe a game from Arcane, probably more Quake Champions, and maybe Starfield, or at least a little glimpse at it.
I really think we're going to see Starfield. I think we're going to see a lot of Starfield there. And I think a couple, 2 weeks before E3, we're actually going to get a trailer.
I think we are going to get at least some gameplay at E3. But if they showcase Quake Champions like they did last year, that guy felt so awkward standing up there talking about that. And I felt so bad for him because I actually like Quake. And I'm like, this is actually interesting, but everyone's like, we're just here for the Fallout news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fallout. We're going for Fallout. Why are you talking about Quake? Fallout.
That poor Quake guy. He's like, I'm just out here trying to do my job, and no one really gives a crap.
And then who's that guy?
Todd Howard walks out on stage and yells.
Who's that guy from Avalanche Studios? Like that really tall guy, and their conversation was so awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna beat some demons, right? Yeah.
And they had Andrew WK do the intro. I'm like, why? Why? He has been relevant since '97.
By the way, guys, just for the record, I want to say it right here and right now, November 9th. That's when I think Starfield will be released.
Oh, I hope.
Okay, cool. We're gonna have to take your word on that. How much everyone putting down?
Dude,
I'll put down 20.
I put down 20.
Oh, dude, I'm going with Koo on it. I think it's gonna happen.
I'll mail it to you if I have to.
I hope it does. I've been in need of a new game, but now that I got a PC, like,
Oh, nice.
I finally joined the club. Yeah, it feels different. But I don't know. I'm excited for a new game to come out. I've been kind of killing it for a new RPG game, and no games have really providing as of late.
So,
Okay,
you ready for the final one?
Yeah, let's transition to our final bit. Big E, take it away.
Yeah, we get the questions we asked from the community through the Discord chats. If you guys ever want to submit stuff to be put on the podcast, we can let us know in the Discord chats or even the YouTube comments, which will probably be on this video. Let us know here. First and foremost, though, it's a big important question, and it's ballsy. Who was it out of your Discord, HB? Or?
It was out of the Shitposters Discord, which is basically the refugees of Zorkanov's Discord.
Yeah, and it's why are you gay?
First of all, I am not gay. You are gay. You are gay.
Ballsy, if you're listening to this, you suck.
Yeah, second that.
Second and foremost, what is the ugliest Elder Scrolls race? Oh,
me.
Orcs.
The orcs, yeah.
We're not even gonna argue, just straight up orcs.
Dunmer. I like the orcs, man.
Wait, what did you say about Dunmer? You fucking bitch. I'll have you know I'm a goddamn Navy SEAL.
Demonetized.
Demonetized.
Demonetized? What is it monetized? The 36 or 37 sermons of Vivek and their impact.
Oh, that was a serious question. Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, so basically, there's a lot of stuff in them. He talks about, basically, he admits to killing Nerevar. There's the 37th sermon talks about Coda and the Godhead and all that stuff, which is, it was Lauren Schick's effort to basically make Coda canon, which we talked a little about. In general, the sermons are a really abstract way at looking at lore, and they're so open that you could pull anything you want from them.
Well, and then the last question here is the Elder Scrolls Blades. What are our thoughts, comments, opinions?
And come out already.
I hope they don't put loot boxes in it.
Oh, they will.
There's definitely going to be microtransactions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still upset about the card game, about that. I actually spent money on that, and I'm not happy with myself for that.
I'm just really glad that they're putting it out for PC, too. And if I heard right, it's going to be cross-platform play.
Oh, that's sweet.
That'd be pretty fun.
If I remember right,
Xbox
they said
too?
that. I'm not sure.
I thought they said it would be on like almost every system.
I know for a fact it'll be on mobile and PC, but I'm not sure about
Yeah, if it's anything like Fallout Shelter, it'll literally be on everything in existence.
The Switch.
And you can play it with your friends, too.
Yeah. So I like the idea because it's like it's a dungeon crawler, and I'm a big fan of Dagger Falls. And if they keep anything like that, it's just fun old retro stuff, you know.
I think it's a perfect way to answer some questions we might not already have.
Yeah,
especially
on some pieces that could fill in the gaps.
Yeah, especially if it takes place in the Iliac Bay, which it looks like to me, based off the architecture. And I think they mentioned something about it, but yeah, it's definitely going to fill in a lot of stuff.
I think that was pretty good. How are we doing on time?
Almost perfect, and we're right about ready to end. And with that, we are done with our podcast. As Biggie mentioned a little earlier, we'll be looking at comments. We'll literally be looking at everything because we want like suggestions for improvement, where you think we could do better. Stuff like that. Just don't make fun of us or Koo's voice or my editing or something like that. Actually, yes, please do. I like criticism because I don't ever get it. But yeah, thanks for joining, and see you guys next time when we maybe have Zorkanov in HB. See ya.
Goodbye.
Yo, bye.
Slen Teed Fall Lusai Dovakin Zuul Korav Nid Nol Dov Duhai.
Try me, and you'll regret it.
You do not even know our tongue, do you? Do you?
I fought wars more ferocious than you.
Do you?
I've got a bone for you. I don't have a lot of patience for questions, Outlander.